I acquired this Evercade console quite a while back now in a lot of faulty electronics, and I think it's about time I actually take a look at it and do something with it. A game was included with the console, so I will be able to test it out. As it turns out though, the game wasn't needed to see what was wrong with it. Quite clearly, the screen on this Evercade needs replacing. So in this video, I'll be replacing the screen in this console, and hopefully that'll be all that needs to be done to get it working again. I've never worked with one of these before, but looking at some videos online, it looks as though you have to basically unpeel this top layer to get to the screws underneath. So I'm just going to try and get something under it as carefully as I can to try and lift it up. This might take a while to do because I do want to try and avoid scratching or damaging it as much as I possibly can while I'm doing this. So now that's been removed, you can clearly see the screws underneath, so I'm just going to take all of these out, and that should be enough to be able to get it open. Well, the screws are out now, but it's still not coming open as easily as I was hoping it was going to. So I'm going to have to try and get something in there to prise the two halves of the shell apart. So I'll just get the tool I used earlier to remove the front panel, which should be able to get in there and deal with any clips that might be holding it together. Finally managed to get the two halves apart. You've got to be careful when doing this because the power switch is loose, so it will just fall out. So I'll put that to one side for safekeeping. And to fully separate the two halves, there's a couple of cables here I'm going to have to unplug. But with those unplugged, we've now got full access to the inside of the console. It looks like to get to the display, these other PCBs are going to all have to be removed as well. So again, I'm just going to go through these one by one, unplug each of them and put them to one side so that I've got full access to the display. I'll have to start by removing the battery as it's stuck between two of the boards. Now, it's taken a while to get this battery out, but finally managed to get it free. There's a thick foam pad sticking it down, which is why it was so difficult to remove it. The display is plugged into this main PCB that was in the centre, and with the board flipped over you can get access to be able to unplug it. And now we've got full access to the screen, and I'm guessing this screen is going to be stuck down, so I'll need to get something in there to pry it up. And actually it turns out it isn't stuck down, it is only just resting in there. So that's nice, don't have to risk damaging the front part of the case. There's no obvious visible damage to it, but I mean we saw it's not working, so either way it's going to need to be replaced. I have already ordered a replacement screen, so I'll get all this stuff moved out of the way and then we can take a look at it. So inside this box is the replacement display, which only cost about £5 from AliExpress. Now it is possible to replace the screen in the original Evercade with an IPS one, and I've seen people use displays designed for the original model of the PSP. But I've decided not to do that in this case because all I'm focusing on is trying to get it working again. If we just compare this with the original, you can see they look pretty much the same. Because while this new display is not specifically made for the Evercade, the console's original display is just a generic 4.3 inch LCD with a resolution of 480 by 272. So a cheap replacement like this one is perfectly fine to use. There are a few bits of foam stuck to the back of the original display which I think just help to hold it in place against the PCB, so I'm going to try and peel those off and transfer those onto the back of the new display. So I've changed my mind about moving the foam now because I figured I might as well plug the new display in first and just test that it actually works. So I've got the PCB with the battery plugged into it, so I'll plug the display in and then we should be able to see if the screen's working. Right, so as you can see it is booting up and we can see the new screen is working correctly. Now that I know it's working, I'll get those foam pieces, move from the back of the old screen onto this one. So here's the screen after moving the foam pieces over, and you'll notice there is the one missing which goes under the power switch, and that's just because it didn't come off particularly cleanly. It's only a thin pad, so I might try and put something else there to replace it, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue given that the other three pads are all in position. Don't forget to flip the screen over and also transfer the foam strips on the other side, which go around the outside of the display. All that's left for me to do now is to put the console back together, which should be pretty straightforward given how easy it was to take it apart. I'm going to leave the protective cover on the screen and only take it off when I'm ready to reinstall the outer lens, which will be the last part of the reassembly. Unfortunately, the front lens on this console is quite badly scratched, and it was already like this when I acquired it. It doesn't look like you can get any replacements, so I might come back to this console in the future and see if there are any more modifications that I can do to it. Because of this, I chose not to fully reassemble the console, which is why I can't show it all on video, and I can't show the console fully reassembled with its new display. That said, the main issue has been fixed with the console and it is now at least usable. If you're looking to replace or upgrade the display on your original Evercade, I hope you find this video useful. I hope you like this video, thank you very much for watching and be sure to stick around for the next one.